Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this is the part 4 of the story. Doyle Gauranga Stops the Suicide. From Anti Leela chapter 4. And we're continuing here. Yesterday, just to recap a little bit, Lord Chaitanya was preaching to Sanatana Goswami and telling him that it's not a good idea to commit suicide, to give up your body. Although Lord Chaitanya was trying to empathize with that mood and saying, yes, one who's a Anuragi Premi Bhakta, one who's a Premi Bhakta of Krishna, very advanced, and he has so much anurag, intense, overwhelming attachment for Krishna, he may feel that there's no reason to live anymore. I've attained prem. I'm having sporties and visions and darshans of Krishna from time to time. And I want to go to Krishna. I want to give up this body. And in my Siddha Sharir, in my Sarup, Siddha Sarup, Siddha Deha, in my spiritual body, I want to serve Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, which I'm doing in my meditation every day. And I'm crying in separation from my beloved Lord. Viraha, intense viraha. So he has that mood that he wants to give up his body, but he doesn't commit the sinful act of committing suicide. So he was giving these explanation like that. Then he said, and your theory was that my body is not fit for service because of my fallen condition, because of this disease I have. But I want to sacrifice my body in front of the wheel of Jagannath's cart, because I heard that you'll get mukti that way. So I want to get some spiritual benefit from this body. I want to get some utilization or art. It's called jiva art, the benefit or value of this human body, this life. So if I throw my body there, I'll finish this useless body, and then I'll attain mukti. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, you can't, this is wrong, this is pataka, this is sin, this is pataka. He said, pataka karan, this is a cause of sin. But you want to get liberation? You get liberation this way. And he said, Shravanam Kirtan, by serving Krishna, you get mukti. And then he said, of all the forms of service, the best is to chant the holy name. He says, Navaveda Bhakti Nam Shrestha. He said, Navaveda Bhakti Nam Shrestha. Among the 9 limbs of devotion, Nam Japa, Nam Kirtan is Shrestha. Shrestha Saran. Shrestha Saran means the topmost, the best form of sadhana. Now Lord Chaitanya goes on, he says, this is Krishna's Kairaj interjecting in the story. Heta Shuni Sanatanera Haila Chamatkar Prabhure na Bhaya Mora Marana Vichar. After hearing the dissertation of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami was thinking, yes, my vichar, my thought, my consideration, my plan, I made a plan. Yes, my body is useless, so I'll give it up in this way, and I'll get some value or use out of my body by getting mukti. So now after hearing from Lord Chaitanya, I realized my vichar, my marana vichar, mora maran vichar, my plan for death, my suicide plan has been frustrated by the wonderful insight and compassionate teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which saved me from this disastrous activity of giving up my body and suicide. So I realized my decision was he said it wasn't very much appreciated by Lord Chaitanya. He was very astonished when he said, Chamatkar, Shuni Chamatkar. When Sanatana Goswami heard the explanation of Mahaprabhu, then he was astonished, and he thought, oh, he's right. He was convinced my idea was wrong. And so now I should act properly. So Lord Chaitanya, it's a dialogue. And there's two people here, Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakur is also observing, and Sanatana Goswami. So he's listening, and Lord Chaitanya is speaking to him. And now Lord Chaitanya wants to hear, so what do you think? I'm telling you this. What's your response? I've given you my ideas and my philosophy. I preached to you on the basis of Smriti Shastra and Rasa Shastra. What do you think? So what did he say? Sarvagya Mahaprabhu Sarvagya Mahaprabhu Nashede Lemore Prabhura Charanadari Kahina Tanhari. Oh Mahaprabhu, you're Sarvagya Bhagavan. This is one of Krishna's qualities, Sarvagya. Omniscience, all-knowing. God is all-knowing. He knows the past, present, and future, and more. He knows more than that. Because he knows everything in the past, present, and future, and everyone, and what everyone's idea is. So Mahaprabhu is Krishna, so he's saying, you are Sarvagya Mahaprabhu, you're omniscient, and you know past, present, and future. You've forbidden me to commit suicide. Then he fell down, Prabhur Charana Dari, Kahina Tanhari. He submitted himself, he heard these good instructions from his Shiksha Guru. He had a plan, he had an idea how to utilize his life. I want to use my life like this. And he presented it to Mahaprabhu, who was acting as his advisor, his counselor, his friend, his Shiksha Guru. And when his Shiksha Guru, counselor, friend, God, Mahaprabhu heard this proposal, his vichar, his mora marana vichar, his plan, his idea to give up his body, commit suicide, Lord Chaitanya rejected it. I reject this idea you have to use your body. Like sometimes a guru may meet a shishya, or he may meet a student. Oh, Maharaj, I have a plan. I'm going to get this degree, and I'm going to raise a family, and I'm going to do this and that. And what do you think of that plan? And the guru looks at him, and maybe he knows his Janma Kundali, and he knows very much about this individual, what his characteristics are, his lakshana, his gun, and his actual bhav and swabhav. What is his swabhav? Swabhav means it's a combination of your karmas from last life and your mentality, feelings, and your previous karma makes your swabhav. So he may be well aware of the swabhav. So when that student or friend of that guru, Swami Maharaj, he hears that. So what do you think? What's your idea of my vichar? I think it's very wrong, and you're wasting your life that way. You should fully surrender yourself to Krishna and dedicate your life to becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. Forget about marriage, forget about children, house, business, and all these grandiose plans you have. This is the plan of the Lord for you. This is your future, because I'm Trikalagya. And if you do this, you'll be all happy and successful. So that would be the instruction of a very wise, liberated soul acting as a guru, who would actually see the past, present, and future of someone. So then the person, oh, Guruji, that's a tough nut to crack, or a tough pill to swallow. I don't know what my father will say about that. And so this is an example here. That's what's happening here. Sanatana Goswami says, "Here's my plan. I came to Puri to do this, and you're on Puri, so here's my plan. What do you think? Do you give me the green light?" And he says, "No, stop, red light. Don't pass go. Go to jail." So then he's telling, so then when he hears his explanation, he says, "Dasosmi, I accept. I surrender." And he holds, Charana Darila means I hold on to your feet, your charan. Thank you so much. And then he goes on to say, Sarvagya Kripalu Tum Ishvara Swatantra Jaiche Nachao Taiche Nachi Jena Kashta Jantra. Oh my Lord Mahaprabhu, you are Sarvagya, you are Kripalu, you are omniscient, all merciful, independent, Swatantra Bhagavan. Ishvara Swatantra means you're the independent, Swatantra, independent, supreme controller. And what am I? I have, what he says, I'm like an instrument of wood, I'm like a piece of wood, and I'm like a wooden doll, and you're making me dance, nachi. Jaiche nachao taichi nachi, yena kashta yantra. Kashta yantra, yantra means a machine, a yantra. an instrument, a machine, and this kashta is Bengali. Kashta means wood. I'm like a wooden machine, like a wooden doll or toy soldier, and you're making me dance with your shiksha. Your shiksha is making me dance. Very poetic answer he gave. And you're like this. So what he's saying is, he's looking at Lord Chaitanya and realizing his very expert advice, and he's saying, I know who you are. You're Bhagavan, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahayanya. You're none other, Nahayanya. You're none other than Radha and Krishna Yugal combined in one sweet, beautiful, compassionate form as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the Prem Purushottam, Prem Avatar for Kali Yuga. Gauranga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's telling you, you're Swatantra Bhagavan, you're Sarvagya, and Kripalu, all these wonderful characteristics and qualities you have. Now, do you want me to in front of you, do you want me to efface myself? We have Facebook and effacing. Effacing means to take off your face, and Facebook means to put on your best face. Hi, I made friends with you. So, they have this phrase in India, some of my friends tell me, if you want to see what someone will never look like, but want to, then look at their Facebook. If you want to see what one will never look like, but they want to, look at their Facebook picture. But if you want to see what one really looks like, look at their voter's ID picture. I heard this recently. You'll like it. It's from you guys. I learned all my jokes from your generation. My juniors. 20-year juniors. My beta and beti. Mera beta. At any rate, so he's glorifying Lord Chaitanya quite correctly as Swatantra Bhagavan, Swatantra Ishvara, rather Swatantra Parameshvara we can say, and Kripalu. Now what about me? What am I? What are you and what am I? Here's what I am. Nicha Adama Pamara, Muni Pamara Swabhav. Pamara, I think it's the same in Hindi. Pamar Swabhav. What is my Swabhav? Mora Jiale Tomar Kiba Habe Lav. What am I? What are you and what am I? I am low born, Nicha Jati. Nicha, Adam. Adam, I am the lowest of men. I am condemned, Pamar. For I have the Swabhav. Pamar Swabhav. Swabhav means the characteristics, the physical behavior and conduct, and the mentality and heart and feelings. This makes the Swabhav. It's a combination of the Trigunamayi from the Purva karmas. So he's saying, Pamar Swabhav, I have all the characteristics, mentality, feelings, sentiments, conduct, and behavior of a Pamar, of a papi, of a sinful person. And More, Jiale, Jiva, if you keep, like, he's arguing the point, he's saying, I don't have anything good, and you're telling me I should not commit suicide. And I respect who you are, and I hold on to your feet, but I still want to plead my case. Your instructions are very good and they're appropriate, and you're saying it's sinful, patak. You say it's it's a cause of sin, and I shouldn't do it, and it's forbidden, and my body is valuable. But I want to repeat to you, my body is not valuable. So he's saying, what will be my love? What is my love? Love, profit, gain. What do I gain by staying alive? So he's pressing the point with his guru. I want to get my degree and become a big doctor, make big bucks, big money, and enjoy. Then later, when I'm 99 and a half, I'll take up bhakti. When I'm 99 and a half and I have one foot in the grave and my other foot in ICU, and I don't mean ICU. One foot is in the grave and one foot is in ICU. Then give me some mala. Hare Krishna. Okay, you did something good. Do one good deed today. In South Delhi, there's a famous place. And on the wall of that famous place, it says, do one good deed today. Do you know what that famous place is? It's surrounded by this boundary wall. It's called Shamshan. It's called a Shamshan Stan. Shamshan Stan means the cremation ground. in Delhi. Big place where they char the bodies. You know, they get charcoal bodies. If you like to eat charcoal, you can go there and get charcoal bodies. They burn up everybody there. And outside is painted on the wall in Hindi and English. Do one good deed today before it's too late. So do a little punya before you die. Hare Krishna. Jai Yamaraj ki Jai. So he's saying, there's no reason for me to stay alive. So now Mahaprabhu is looking at him, the camera's on Sanatan, saying, I'm Pamara, I'm Nietzsche, and all the expressions that goes, all the physical, facial expressions, the emotions that must be conveyed in the face as one is delivering this line. It's a drama, it's rasa, it's a lila. So the camera is on his face, and everyone's saying, "Oh, he's feeling. Oh, I'm Pamara, Nietzsche, I'm Pamara, and I'm Pamara Sobhav." And then Lord Chaitanya. And then the camera goes on Lord Chaitanya. He's looking. Kripalu Swatantra Bhagavan. So he's an ocean. He's a Kripa Samudra, Kripa Sindhu, an ocean of mercy. All knowing, all understanding, all compassionate. This is his jiva. This is his Vibhinamsha Jiva, this is his devotee, his eternal part and parcel. He's God, and this is his Amsh, his devotee speaking. And what does he think? He's going like this. He doesn't believe it. He has a face of incredulity, or whatever it is, incredibility, or whatever. There's the word incredulous. He's looking. I don't believe it. I don't accept what you say. So his face has that type of expression. I don't accept it, I don't believe it. So then everyone's waiting as they're watching this scene of the movie. Now how is the Lord going to reply? Will he be defeated by this argument of the disciple? So he says, Prabhu kahe, Tomara deha, mora nijadan. Tumi more karijacha atma samarpan. He's saying, your body is my property, my wealth. Tomara dea, mora sharira, mera dan. Your body is my wealth. You're saying it's useless, it has no value, it's Adam, it's Nietzsche, Adam, Pamar. And he says, your body is my property, and you've already surrendered to me. Atma Samarpan, you've already surrendered to me. Because previously it was explained that he took Diksha. Diksha Kale, Aprakrita Deya, Krishna Atma Samarpan. There's a previous verse. At the time of Diksha Kale, at the time of Diksha, one gets an Aprakrita Deha, a spiritual body. Krishna Atma Samarpan. And because he offers that Samarpan, he offers everything to Krishna and Guru. Then his Atma becomes, Samarpan becomes like Krishna. At the time of Diksha, one gets a Prakrita Deha, a Satchidana Deha. So he's saying, your body belongs to me. He's saying, therefore you no longer have any claim on your body because Atma Samarpan. Your Atma means your Sharira Deha. Atma means Man, and Atma means Jiva, Jivatma. Man Tan Dan, Krishna Samarpan. You've given everything to me. It's too late. So then he goes on. He says, Parera dravya tumi kene chaha vinashite. Dharma adharma vichar kiba na parakarite. Why, Sanatan? Do you want to destroy another's property? Can't you understand what is right and wrong? That's Prabhupada's translation of dharma and adharma. Can't you understand what is dharma and adharma? Because Western people, we may not understand all this concept of the Dharma Shastras. But in Dharma Shastras, there's something, the Smritis are called the Dharma Shastras. And in the Smritis or Dharma Shastras, like Mahabharata, etc., there's so many yamas, niyamas, nishedas, rules and regulations, laws and rules. So one thing, it's a great sin, it's a sin if you give a donation to someone, you give some property or money or object or clothing or whatever, and then you say, oh Prabhu, I need that back, can I have that back? And you take it back. It's a big pop, it's a big sin, which is described the reaction one gets and what hell one goes to by doing that. and that should not be done. So when it's raised in a culture, in the Indian Vedic culture, which is guided by Shastra Vidhi Nishad, then one will learn all these rules of Dharma. That's called a Dharma Vidhi. And then another rule is to destroy another's property. That's everywhere, in every place. It's illegal. It's not only illegal, it's sinful in the eyes of God. So if you go and do arson means you torch someone's house or business because of envy or greed or competition or whatever, spite, and you burn down their house or business and destroy their property, that's a huge sin. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, you want to destroy your body by committing suicide. That's another sin because it's not your property. One thing, if you give up your body, that's a sin. It's your body, and with your free will you decide to give it up in suicide, so you do that suicide. Then you live the balance of your allotted years as a bhuta, prate, pishacha, or ghost. If you're 40 and take the choice, you make an independent decision to commit suicide, and your destiny is to live to be 80 years. 40 years you're a ghost, then you go to Pitri Loka, then you're tried for that crime and further punished, and gradually after many, many bodies you come again to the human species. So this is the karma fall for suicide. So he's saying that's one point, but now your body belongs to me. It's my property. So now there's another negative. Now there's another sin. If you insist on committing suicide, then you commit another sin of destroying my property. It's interesting logic he's using. Tomara sharir, mora pradhan sadhan. E sharira sadimo, ami baho prayojan. Your body, I'm going to use your body. Sounds like Frankenstein or something. I'm going to use your body and create Frankenstein. And that's Dr. Frankenstein, a new man, a special supermensch, Superman. So then he says, Tomar sharir mor pradhan sadhan. Your body, pradhan means the main principle. I'm going to establish some very important sadhan with your body. E sharire sadimo, ami baho prayojan. By your body I shall carry out many necessities, and I will accomplish many tasks. In other words, this is like a guru telling a disciple. He said, you're going to give your body to Maya. You're going to give your body to a life of sense gratification. And I'm trying to encourage you to give your body to Krishna for a life of dharma and liberation. A life of sense gratification is bondage and samsara. But a life of Krishna's seva is a life of liberation. And samsara chordye, samsara hogya. So this is a crossroads a young man may face. I faced it when I was 24. I finished college, had my degree, and I had a choice. Pravritti marg, nivritti marg. Krishna describes in Gita 2 margs, nivritti, pravritti. Pravritti means enjoyment. Nivritti means renunciation. Vritti. So somehow, by good fortune, everything is good fortune if you think it's good fortune. For one who chooses the pravritti marg, he thinks that's good fortune, he's enjoying. And someone who makes his choice in the vritti marg, he thinks that's good fortune. It's subjective. And both are correct. But the fact is that a life of sense gratification ends in rebirth. And the fact of a life of transcendental life, or a spiritual life, ends in liberation. That's the Shastric statement, that's not my supposition. At any rate, so he's telling that, I want to use your body like this. Then he goes on. Then, so Sanatana Goswami is hearing, Acha, do tell. Oh, do tell, what is your idea that you'll do with my body? Because my plan was to finish it, and you want to keep it going. You see some value here. And that's the whole idea when people try to stop someone from committing suicide. There's whole emergency groups and whatnot in different cities. They have hotlines and call lines. Someone's about to commit suicide, and if they're not that serious, they may call up someone and say, I'm on the top edge of a building, and then someone comes and talks them out of it and convinces them of the usefulness and value of their existence. and the worthwhileness of continuing. They're like this in many cities, helplines and people like that, organized by the government. So Lord Chaitanya, he's saying, what? I want to commit suicide. No, wait, come off that ledge. Just come in this room. Just reach your hand. Come. And they pull him off and through the window. Sit down. What is the problem? Why? So now he's saying, listen, I've got a great plan for you. Oh, really? I can do that? And you have this idea? Yes, come, I'll hire you. You can work for me. I'll give you a free flat and a car and everything. Oh, really? You actually have faith in me and I can do something? Yes. And then that person's whole mentality changes and their whole life changes just because someone extends a hand of mercy and compassion at the right moment. So this is happening right now somewhere in some city in the world. The Kripalu Jana that are extending their mercy to save their fellow human beings that are suffering so intensely from the pressures and tribulations of mundane material life that they want to give up their bodies. So he says that, here's what I'm going to do. Here's the options waiting for you. Bhakta Bhakti Krishna Prema Tatvara Nidar Vaishnavara Kritya Ara Vaishnava Char. You have to do a lot of things. You have to write a lot of books and have to live a very exemplary life. I want you, Bhakta Bhakti Krishna Prema Tattva Nidhar. You have to ascertain and write about and explain what is bhakti, what is a devotee, and what is prema. And then Vaishnavara Kritya, and what is achar, what is the kritya, what are the duties and actions of a Vaishnava, and how should he behave, what festivals should he observe, and how should he observe those festivals, and how should he behave with other Vaishnavas. You have to write all these things, because I'm busy in my own Brajabhavs and ecstasies of remembering Radha and Krishna's Leela as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And I can't do this work, I want to do it through you. So he's saying, and then Sanatana Goswami is saying, wow, really? Me? Little old me? You want me to do all these wonderful things and write all these wonderful books? He says, you have to ascertain and establish and write Nidar, Tattva Nidar, the truth of the tattvas of Bhakta Tattva and Bhakti Tattva and Prema Tattva and Vaishnav Tattva and Sadachar Tattva. All these truths you have to establish for the Vaishnav Samaj, for the Bhaktagan, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It says Krishna, then he says, Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prema, Seva Pravartan, Lupta Tirtha Udhar, Ara Vairagya Shikshan. You have to explain Krishna Bhakti, and you have to establish centers for the cultivation of love of Krishna. That's a very interesting explanation. Seva Pravartan Lupta Tirtha. Seva Pravartan. That's a very beautiful phrase. Like we say, ISKCON Samstakacharya. Samstakacharya means the establisher of ISKCON. Samstakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So he's saying Seva Pravartan. You have to establish places of seva. That means satsang halls, or it means mandirs, or it means some Vaishnav Raja Sabha. Vaishnav Raja Sabha. Sabha means assembly. So Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami and Vrindavan at Sevakunj, they established a Vaishnav Raja Sabha, an august assembly of the Vaishnavas. So they had no formal structure. There was some kunjas there, and eventually a mandir came, Radha Damodar. But they would all agree to meet together and discuss philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism and all these things. So that's Seva Pravartan. Then Lupta Tirtha, the Lupta or Gupta, the hidden holy places. You have to reveal the Leela Stalis of Radha and Krishna and teach people how to adopt the renounced order. So he says, Lupta Tirtha Udar. Udar actually means to bring out, like we say, Udar means welfare work, or Udar. Udar means to outgoing, or to bring out, express your heart to others. That means welfare. Welfare work means you bring out your heart. Udhar. You bring out your heart and express to others. So he's saying you have to do this work. And then he says, Vairagya Shikshan. You have to give shiksha, how people can be detached from material life and live a life of vairagya vidya nija bhakti yoga. So how did he teach? By his own achar. By his own achar, by his own example, he taught how to live a renounced life. Sankhya purvaka namagana natabi kalava sannikrito nidra hara vihara kari vijato chatyanta dino jayo. In the Sadgoswami Astakam, Srinivasacharya is glorifying the Sadgoswamis, Sri Rup Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta, Das Raghunath, H.I. Gosai Kori, Chananan Vandan, Yahoite Vignanash, Abhishta Puran. This is from Narottam Das's song. So in this song he's saying, Nidra Hara Vihara Kari Vijato. Vijato. They were Vishesh Jayate. Vijato means they were completely successful. Total conquest. Absolute victory. Completely successful. Total conquest. Absolute victory. This is Vijato. Vijayate. Over what? Nidra Ahara Hara Kari Vijato. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Totally they conquered. Because they were absorbed in Radha Krishna Guna Smritera Madhuri Ma Nandena Samhoito. Radha Krishna Guna Smritera Madhuri. Madhuri, Smriti. They were always remembering, Smaran, the sweetness of Radha Krishna Gun. Radha Krishna Gunera Smriti. Madhuri Ma. Then they were lost in that remembrance. Nam Rukun Lila. And therefore, what is this eating? When you're lost in some activity, you forget eating. When you're lost in some activity, you forget sleeping. And you may forget mating and fighting and defending and arguing and quarreling and everything else because you're lost in reading or lost in sporting or playing or dancing or playing tennis or whatever. You're immersed in that activity. And then, I forgot, I'm very hungry. Or, and when you stop, I'm very tired. I didn't realize how tired I was. So this is their absorption in Krishna consciousness. It was so deep and so pervasive that they forgot everything about eating and sleeping. So this you have to show others that it's possible to live a life like that, like Raghunath Das. They're human beings like us. They have the same yantra that we have, the Shadir yantra, the same bodies. So they're the guideposts, they're the beacon lights to bring us forward on a life of detachment. Because detached we must be. Eventually we have to give up the body at death. So practice detachment before Yamraj detaches us. Yamraj will detach everyone at the time of death. But sadhana means practice now before death. And if we're successful in our detachment and successful in there's vairagya on one side and asakti. There's asakti and vairagya. So vairagya means detachment and asakti means attachment. So we have to have Krishna asakti and Maya vairagi. Detachment from Maya and be attached to Krishna. It's called asakti. Attachment from Krishna. So he's saying like this, that you have many things to do, and he's just outlining, he's giving his whole seva list here. Now he's saying more. He's saying Nija Priya Stana Mora Mathura Vrindavan Tahan Ekta Dharma Chahi Karite Pracharan. You have to Nija Priya Stana Mora Mathura Vrindavan. My Nija Priya Stan, my very dear beloved places of my Nitya Leela, my eternal pastimes with Radha and Krishna. These are the places I want you to reveal and uncover and excavate and show to the world. So the world will know about Radhakund and Varsan and all these wonderful places, Chandra Sarovar and Sevakunj and Nidhiban, all these wonderful places of pastimes. Akrura Ghat and Keshi Ghat and Vamshivat and Yogapit and Sanket Dham and Prem Sarovar and all the Man Sarovar and all these wonderful places. You have to do that. So he says, Mathura Vrindavan is my very dear abode. Nija Priya Stan, Mora Vrindavan. I want you to do many things there to preach Krishna consciousness. So this is another meaning. I gave it a slightly different meaning. So he's saying, Mora Stan, that place is my very dear place. What place? Mathura Vrindavan is my heart. Krishna's heart is Vrindavan. Krishna's body is Mathura Mandala. Krishna's heart is Vrindavan. And Krishna's heart of his heart is Radhakund. Because in the Padma Purana it says that the Drasikos Vrindavan, this Dwarasavan Vrindavan is the body of the Lord. And it said this Van is his head and this Van is like that, and it describes all the different Vans, like the Bhagavatam is the body of the Lord. So as Mathura Mandal is his body and Vrindavan is his heart, and the heart of his heart is Pranadan, the wealth of his heart. The Pranadan is Riddhi Pranadan, the wealth of his heart is Radhakund. Of course, this is a biased presentation, because every speaker is a subjective entity, so I'm entitled. And of course I'm backed by Shastra also, so I feel rather convinced about what I'm saying. I'm in good hands. Behind me is Krishnadas Kaviraj feels the same way, Raghunath Das feels the same way, Rupa Goswami feels the same way. So I have good backing, good alliance with me. And a little more time left. So Sanatana Goswami, he compiled a book called Brihad Bhagavatamritam, which is in Hindi and also English. It teaches people how to become devotees, how to perform bhakti, and how to attain love of Krishna. That's some good teachings. And he compiled a book called Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is a book that causes headaches for many devotees. No, it doesn't say that. Because every shastra, without a guru, it's like, if I give you a book, here's a book on navigation, here's a sailboat, go to Spain. And you're in New York City, in New York Harbor, and Brooklyn. Here's a book on navigation, here's a sailboat, jump in. I'm flying to Spain tonight, I'll meet you there later. I'll be waiting for you. Navigation, nautical miles, sextant, calculation, stars, nakshatras. Oh my God. And then you think you'll get to Spain? I don't think you'll end up down the drain. You won't get to Spain. I mean, your boat will go like this. So you need a guru, you need a navigation officer, you need a teacher. So Shastra without guru is nowhere, impossible. So he's saying in this book, Hari Bhakti Vilas, it actually says it's an authorized scriptural injunctions regarding how a Vaishnava should behave. Only by endeavors of Sri Sanatana Goswami were all the lost places of pilgrimage in Vrindavan area excavated. He established Madan Mohan, which is the first deity in Vrindavan area, and the temple was opened in 1580, and Radha Govinda's temple was opened in 1590. By his personal behavior, he taught how one should act in renounced order of life. He was completely devoted to the service of the Lord. By his practical personal example, Sanatana Goswami taught people how to stay in Vrindavan to execute bhakti. And that's told, how to stay in Vrindavan and execute bhakti. That is Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natabi Kalava Sanikrito. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natabi. He says that you can live in Vrindavan if every day you chant Sankhya Nam. You chant a fixed number of rounds, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana. And you chant some prayers, gun. Gun means prayers, songs, ashtakams. And the most important principle, dainya. In Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Sanatana Goswami Pad, he talks about prema. He gives 6 steps, and I put a little article on my Facebook, it's supposed to go today. The 6 main ways to attain prema. And one, he says, is to sing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Braja Krita Gan. Braja Krita Gan means sing about the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. 2 is Braja Krita Smaran, to remember the intimate loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. 3 is he says, Rasik Loka Sangha. Rasik Loka Sangha means associate with Premi Bhaktas, advanced Rasika Bhaktas. That's 3. 4, he says, Braja Dham Nivas. Live in Braja Dham. That's like 4, whatever counting. Then 5, 5 was, he says, Krishna Kripa. Krishna Kripa, he says, Krishna Kripa Pradhan Karna Prem Prapti. He said the main cause of attaining Krishna Prem, because I said there's 6 ways to attain Krishna Prem. He said the Pradhan Karan means the main cause is Krishna's mercy. And then that's 5, I think so. And the 6th one is Dainya. One must live in Vrindavan with the utmost Dainya bhav, humility. And he defined that. He said one must be have the utmost humility in his thoughts, words and deeds. The utmost humility in his phrases, his expressions, his language, and in his thoughts, and his speech, and his actions. Then, if one follows these 6 ways, he will attain Krishna Prema. So I already gave you my Facebook. So that's in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. That's in part 2 of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, chapter 5, verses 219 through 236. 5 to 19 through 236. So it's very wonderful because the chapter is about prema, prema labha. Prema labha means attainment of prema. So this is the same individual. It's not Goswami who gave that book. So I think we have a little more time. So he's again, Lord Chaitanya is still instructing him. He says, Matara agyaya ame vasini lachale tahan dharma shikayate nahi nijabale. I already intimated to this point that Lord Chaitanya is busy with his internal ecstasies of relishing Radharani's Mahabhav and Viraha, Krishna Viyog, and he can't put his mind or energy anymore at this stage of his life. This is stage of his Leela, of Lord Chaitanya. This is his Gambhira Leela, Antya Leela, and he's totally absorbed in this Leela Smaran of Radha and Krishna. Although for the first, this is the last 6 years of his Prakat Leela of Lord Chaitanya, from the age of 42 to 48. So from the age of 24, for 18 years, Lord Chaitanya was absorbed in preaching, chanting Harinam Nam Sankirtan and preaching Krishna Bhakti Prachar all over India, till all the greatest scholars and pundits and anyone, Jagai and Madai, fallen people, anyone he was preaching to, and distributing love of God. But now, in the remaining last 6 years of his life, which was, his Prakat Manifest Leela, from age 42 to 48, he wanted to totally absorb himself in remembering Krishna, which is the ideal example of anyone at the end of their life. They should absorb their minds in Radha and Krishna's pastimes, alone, nirjan. He wanted to do nirjan bhajan in the Gambhira. Gambhira means dark, lonely, deep place. Guda, Gambhir. So he wanted to enter into those deep, dark, not dark, but deep, illuminated pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and leave the preaching to his followers and disciples, not disciples per se, but his associates. So he says, by the order of my mother, Mata Agya. We have Guru Agya. If you're a child, you have lots of Mata Agya and Pita Agya. And sometimes you say, ugh, I don't want to follow it. Agya. Om Jnana Timarandas, that's a different thing. This is Agyaya. So Mata Agya. My mother told me, don't go far away from home, my dear beloved Nimai. I love you dearly. Don't go all the way to Vrindavan or all the way to Haridwar or to Dwarka or to Rameshwar, to some tirtha to live. Can't you go nearby where I can get news of you regularly, and even I can cook some cookies? I can make some cookies and send them down there. Cookies means, matki and namkeen and some dry sweets, which she did, and which the devotees would carry every year when they came to Puri. They would bring some of her preparations. Mom's home cooking, nothing like it. So this is the sweet side of Mahaprabhu's grandiose Leela, his Gaurav Leela and his Madhura Leela, blending together in the beautiful presentation of Audarya, Gaurava, Aishvarya, Madhurya, Gaurava, Aishvarya. Gaurava, Aishvarya, and then Madhurya blends together and expresses his most beautiful compassion and sweet relish in the form of Audharya for all of us, Gaur Leela. So he says, my mother told me I should stay in Puri, nearby. So I personally, I would love to, but I can't go to Mathura and Vrindavan. And I would like to go there and teach the people how to live according to religious principles. That's a very interesting point. I would like to go teach the people how to live there according to religious principles. Dharma shikayate nahi nija bali. So that's an interesting point. But so now he's saying, Eta sava karma ami ye dehi karimu taha charite chaha tume kimone sahimu. I have to do all this work, which I just outlined to you, through your body. But you want to give up your body then? Or kya? How can I tolerate this? Sahimu. Kimane sahimu. Sahimu is Bengali. How can I tolerate? Tabe sanatana kahe tomake namaskare. Tomara gambira hriday ke bujite pare. Sanatan said, Dandabats namaskar. I offer my respectful obeisances. Tomara gambira hriday ke bujite pare. Who can understand the gambir hriday? Who can understand how deep your heart is? And what is the deep ideas within your heart? Kashtera putali. It's like in Hindi, how they say dal, putli. Cut putli? Putli means, when all the, don't mind, the Russian ladies, whatever. But when I used to take Russian devotees on yatra around Vrindavan. And I used to, I still will, if any of them ask me. But we had a lot of good times together. They're all, the foreign devotees mostly. So we would get out of the bus, especially in Raval, Radharani's Abhirbhav, appearance place, and different places. Then the local villagers, they would see that these Western, especially Russian ladies, are kind of long, and compared to Indians, are very long and thin and tall. So they would say, they would giggle and laugh, say, oh, cut putli. Oh, look, deko. Oh, they go like this, like, hey, Saki, deko. Hey, Saki, deko. Hey, cut putli. And they go, oh, look at that. They say, look, sorry, it was so lumby. So and I know some Hindi, unfortunately. So I'd hear that, and I would just laugh. They would say, "Oh, look at those dolls." They, cut putli means like a doll, because when and especially somehow Western ladies, when they wear a sari, they kind of walk a little funny, by Indian standards, although they think they're doing fine. But by Indian standards, no offense, but especially village ladies, when like the village lady puts this thing on top of her head, or sari, it never moves, no matter what she does. It has like blue tack, or it has some kind of glue up there. It just stays there. She's, beating her husband or whatever she's doing. It never comes off her head. And then when Prabhupada wanted all the Western ladies to cover their heads, and his disciples, so they tried or whatever. But they're expert at that. So, and then they walk. They do everything. They wear their saris and they milk the cows, and it just looks so natural and fluid. But then Western ladies look at trot. And that's their vichara, don't mind. But they all get so much fun. Whenever we go to all these small places around Braj and we get out, and I hear this and I just start, sorry, I laugh a little bit. So this same word is being said here. Sanatana Goswami is feeling like one of those, what the Brijvasi ladies think, what they think the Russian ladies look like. Putali, it's the same word in Hindi, it's slightly different. Katputli is putali. Kashtera putali yena kuhake nachai. Apane najane putali kiba nache gai. He says a wooden doll, a doll like made of wood, it dances according to the direction of the nachwala, he says a magician, but he doesn't know how he's dancing and singing. Because in other words, the man is singing underneath and making this wooden thing go. So even don't feel bad, Sanatana Goswami is feeling himself to be a Katputli also. And he's saying, Lord Chaitanya, he says, you're making me dance. Jare jache nachal ye taiche kari nartan. Kaiche nache keba nachoy. Seya nahijan. My Lord, you cause everyone to dance, and everyone dances accordingly. But how he dances and who is causing him to dance, he does not know. Who is making me dance? I don't know. Haridase kahe Prabhu shuna Haridas. Perera dravya inho chahena karite vinash. Mahaprabhu then turned to Haridas, because the three of them are there having a conversation. So if you're trying to, see Shastras through the camera lens of absorption, that's my phrase. Read the Shastras through the camera lens of absorption. So the whole time Haridas has been sitting there watching this conversation, the facial expressions. So the eyes of Haridas are like our eyes. So sometimes the camera is on Mahaprabhu, sometimes on Sanatana Goswami, sometimes the camera pans out and shows all three Haridas. Now the camera is on Haridas's face, because he's another actor, another actor in the drama. There's three heroes here, let's say actors. So now how is he going to respond? He's watched this whole conversation, how they've exchanged, and how Sanatana surrendered, and how he argued briefly, then he surrendered, and what Lord Chaitanya was preaching. Then he said, Mahaprabhu turned to Haridas. So now what's he going to say to him? My dear Haridas, just listen, just hear how this gentleman wants to destroy another's property. So it's actually a wonderful drama if you isolate it this way. And of course it flows. I'm speaking for hours on this small story, which would go by in minutes in a movie, or hardly a minute. But it's so beautiful. First he says, he tries to convince Sanatana, hey look, you want to throw away your body in suicide. And then he turns, what do you think of this guy? I already showed you and proved how this is my property. Hey, he wants to destroy my property. What do you think of that, Haridas? And Haridas will have to say, yeah, you're right. That's wrong. And then the camera looks, and then the camera goes to Sanatana's face. Sanatana goes saying, what's his response? Like, wow, Haridas is not into it, and Lord Chaitanya is not into it. They're not approving or encouraging me. So now he says, he goes on, Lord Chaitanya, now he's preaching to Haridas. Parera stapya dravya keha nakaya vilai nishediha inhare jena nakare anyaya. One who is entrusted with another's property does not distribute that property or use it for his own purposes. He's supposed to look after it and protect it. Therefore, Haridas, will you please tell him, Haridas, will you please tell Sanatana not to do such an awful thing? So even Lord Chaitanya was eliciting support and help from Haridas, who was part of the whole drama. Listen, I told him, but he seems to be a little, he's being a little sarcastic. When I told him, he says, you turned me, Lord Chaitanya, you turned me into a wooden doll, and I'm just dancing the way you want me to. So Lord Chaitanya is detecting some resistance of Sanatana Goswami that it doesn't sound like why doesn't he just say, yes, dasosmi? He's saying like this, I don't know your plan. So now what's Haridas going to say? Whose side is he going to be on? He's going to say, oh, Mahaprabhu, let him do it, come on. I mean, he really wants to commit suicide. That's what he wants to do. Or is Haridas going to say, yes, you're right. It's not a good idea. So then Haridasa kahe, mitya abhimanakari, mitya abhimanakari, tomara gambir hriday bujite na pari. That my friend must be getting a lot of entertainment, because this is Gauranga, and he knows Bengali, and he must be Bangla Shuno. Ye Swamiji kya bolte? Kya bolu? Kombolu. What's he saying? This is Bengali. I'll tell you, maybe, because he'll read it like Haridasa kahe mitya abhiman kari. Please forgive me. We're trying. Dire. So then he says, Haridas says, because Lord Chaitanya looks at Haridas and says, what do you think, Haridas? Do you think it's a good idea or not? So what does Haridas say? We are falsely proud of our capabilities. Actually, we cannot understand your deep intentions. That means me. So then he says, Kon karya tumi kar kon dware, tumi na janaile keha janite na pare. Mahaprabhu, unless you tell us what you really want, we cannot understand what your purpose is or what you're trying to do through whom. So then Haridas Thakur sums it up. He says, Etadrisha tumi yanhare, kare jacha angikar, eta sobhagya ihan nahaya kahar. He says, O Mahaprabhu, you are a great personality, and you have accepted Sanatana Goswami as your own. Certainly, Sanatana is a very fortunate person, Sobhagya. No one can be as fortunate as he is. Tabe Mahaprabhu kari dunhare alingan madhyan kari te uti karila gaman. Mahaprabhu then embraced both Haridas and Sanatan. Then they both got up and left to perform their noon duties. Thus ends the story of Dayal Gauranga Stops the Suicide. It ends on a sweet, happy note. Madarena Samapayat. So this is drama in Sanskrit, in Natya Shastra, in Bharat Muni is the author of Natya Shastra. He says that Natya Shastra drama, Leela, should always end on a sweet note. So there was some suspense here. Will he do it or will he not? Will he commit suicide or will he not? Will he get the approval of Lord Chaitanya or not? And he presents his position, then Lord Chaitanya argues against it, then he argues for it, and finally he says, okay, Charna Dharila, he holds on Lord Chaitanya's feet and says, okay, I'm a doll, you're the magician making me dance. And then Haridas gets involved and he says, yes, this is your will. How fortunate he is to be accepted by you and instructed by you. And Lord Chaitanya says, yes. And then Lord Chaitanya with his long, golden, beautiful arms, he puts around the two very frail and thin bodies of the great Vairagi, Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami. And together all three of them are embracing. That's the final scene, and then the curtains close. Everybody says, Haribo. So we have to create the word. I say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We have to, the art of, they say a picture, a photograph is worth 1,000 words. I have that phrase, you must have heard. So we say, and when we're approaching Shastra, we should take the 1,000 words of Shastra and put them into pictures. Take the 1,000 words of Shastra, put them into pictures, and run the movie in your mind and heart. Put them in the pictures, make it a motion picture, it's called a movie. Take the words of the Shastras, put them into pictures. Make it motion pictures. That's a movie, and play that movie in your mind and heart. This is how to read Shastra. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.